One. All right, everyone. Welcome to another great panel. I told you that I had another panel to go to, and here I am. So this is the great Hung by the Stockings with Care, or I should say Hung by the Fireplace with Care. Daniel was the one that made the title, so don't blame me. But yeah, we are here with another great panel, and for all you viewers at home, we are still raising money for the Make-A-Wish Foundation this year. They do amazing things year in, year out, especially around during this time of year. So if you're able to, we've got the QR code on the screen, or you can go to the InfernoCon website and follow the instructions there. But with that all the way, want to introduce you all to our very special guests, Mr. Daniel Brown, Mr. Todd, Miss Lori Fry, and our honorary InfernoCon member from last year, the man from Yonkers, Mr. Dominic Pace.
Guys, how are you? Happy to be here. Happy holidays to everybody.
Happy holidays to you too. Yeah, and I love the festivities that I'm seeing around here. Dan, you're all decked out in lights. Todd, I love the hat you got.
Thank you.
Dominic, you got a really nice tree back there.
Thank you. We decided to switch it up to white there a couple of years ago, just to kind of change it up. But we like it. It makes the Hallmark ornaments and the Star Wars ornaments pop a little more there. So yeah, thanks so much. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And Lori, I see you've got Christmas lights in the back as well.
Little Star Wars characters going on the bookshelf, of course.
Ah, fantastic. Well, now that we got all the introductions out of the way, why don't we go ahead and get started? So, as this panel implies, what this panel is Star Wars, year in, all year round has special meaning for all of us, especially during the holiday season, where I think we use our fandom to, really boost, our enjoyment of the holidays as well as the fandom in general. And I like to hear, not just from you guys, but also, any viewers, who want to comment about their favorite, holiday traditions, regarding Star Wars. Daniel, I'd like to start with you. I wanted to know more about the IG-11 that you've got in the background and how that came about.
Yeah, so that actually wasn't really a Christmas project per se. We printed it last year, so it's all 3D printed, and I'm sure that the guys in the 3D printer panel later will mention it as well, so I can tell you how it's held together with. There's only a little bit of duct tape right now, so we're doing pretty good. But what we found is, so we do a number of parades and things like that this year, and we have brought him out to 2 parades and a holiday event so far. He's a big hit, but the weird thing is most people sort of ignore anything else and kind of go right for Mr. Yoda right there. So it's been fun, and it's a nice attention grabber. But for me anyway, I think it's neat when you can take something awesome like Star Wars and sort of tie it in to something else that you like Christmas. Makes it even more fun.
Yeah, absolutely. No, well, first of all, it's great I was very grateful to see you guys able to do the parades again this year. It's really nice that we're able to do a lot more, bigger outdoor events, because I know last year was a bit tricky. But Daniel, you're right in regards to Baby Yoda being the star, because in the holiday parade I was at, the Holiday Electric Light Parade, I was carrying this guy around. I was in my stormtrooper armor the entire time. And I could, and all the kids were screaming out, which is Baby Yoda, Baby Yoda. It's just like, well, I got my good luck charm right here. But yeah, Dominic, I've seen you've had quite the year. I've seen you've been all around the country from what I've seen. You've been going to various small businesses, a lot of comic stores, a lot of, small toy shops. Wonder if you could tell us about, how all that went, and, if you got something special, holiday related.
Sure, absolutely. Well, I mean, as many know, it was sort of a 2-year campaign. It's supposed to initially be 1 year. When I realized that the pandemic was still going to go on, and just a little concerned if entertainment was going to exist in 2021, I decided to push the envelope a little too far. We got a nice little phone call from Lucasfilm, but it was ambitious, and it was in a good spirit in terms of what my intentions were in 2020, which was to help small business, promote the joy of Star Wars, obviously promote my character. We were able to raise over $25,000 for small business, and in conjunction with the 501st Mandalorian Mercs, I believe it was close to $15,000 in charity. We visited over 60 different comic book stores, including locations in Alaska as well as Hawaii. Beautiful Richmond there as well, Richmond Comics, and I got to, unfortunately, I pushed the envelope a little too hard, even with health. That I was on the road with that summer heat. Much respect to you guys in the South. It got the best of me once I hit to Florida, and I just had to throw in the towel at that point. Holiday-wise, the one thing that obviously was so magical for me, that goes back to childhood. I think many Generation Xers can relate in terms of the impact that Star Wars had on us. Was you combine that with the magic of Christmas, but also at the same time, I was 6 and 9 years old, where we had Santa Claus visit the house, and I had that magic of Empire Strikes Back toys, as well as Return of the Jedi toys. Absolutely priceless. Coincidentally enough, the most magical figures for me were the little side characters, Weequay and my dear friend Steve Constantino, that chubby little Gamorrean guard, which I just loved. And I played for hours and hours in my grandparents' corner room. That's where my sister and I would spend our summers, and also all the holidays in Yonkers, New York. But just very, very fond memories of creating, imagining. It's hard to believe now, where we're just all locked into this phone, that I would spend an hour or two with Jabba's little palace, and also all the little side characters there, as well as our coveted figure, that black Jedi Luke there, which I think we were all going crazy for at the end of season 2 there with Mandalorian. So, but happy to be here. Appreciate all that you guys do. We've got a lot of special things coming up this year, just specifically for the 501st, as a way of saying thank you. So we'll be letting everybody know about that in the coming months, and hopefully look forward to being in one of in your neck of the woods. We're looking at 9 to 10 major cities, not to do a signing, but just to work on the efforts of 501st as a way of me just wanting to say thank you to so many 501st members who came out to support me, which to me, it's like the it just is mind-boggling, because again, it was such a small side character, and I received so much support, and forever grateful to you guys.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, sorry to hear that you had to cut your tour short, but obviously your health comes first, and obviously we want you to stick around to continue to do the great things that you do nationwide.
Thank you.
But yeah, no, that is amazing to hear. Lori, I was very, very happy to see that Aaron Scare was able to commence this year. I am so proud of you guys for able to pull it up. I am sorry that I wasn't able to attend, with me being out here in Utah. But yeah, no, I would, but yeah, I'm losing my train of thought. No, I was wondering, first of all, how did the overall event go from your end? And two, are there any other special Star Wars memories that you have during the holiday season?
Well, Aaron Scare went very well this year. We had to do a lot of changes because of the pandemic. For the big change was that it was outdoors, which, being in late October, added an extra element of suspense in terms of how's the weather going to be? Is it going to rain? And it was a little scary in the morning because it was gray and misty, and we were like, oh boy, is it going to be a damn day? But it turned out to be gorgeous. And we had the fall leaves behind us where our photo ops were, so it gave us beautiful backdrops, because our own backdrops didn't work. The wind gusts were so strong that they were going to become kites. So we just decided to go without the backdrops, but we did great. We had a lovely, lovely fall leaves to take care of that. As far as Star Wars and the holidays, it's intertwined with Christmas so strongly in my family that I'm always trying to adjust my schedule in terms of, am I doing a Star Wars event today or Christmas shopping or baking cookies? Because December is always booked. There's two different holiday parades that technically one's in November, the Western Holiday Parade, which Dan mentioned. Plus I march in the Alexandria Scottish Walk, which is always the first week of December. And that's fun because we get to throw on kilts along with our armor and other little Scottish and holiday touches. So that's a nice opportunity to get out there. Also, a lot of the movie premieres have been in December. So my Facebook feed has been popping up with memories of the Rogue One premiere that was one of the most recent ones to come up as a December premiere. Between those two holiday parties and other 501st events like InfernoCon, we're pretty busy in the Star Wars world in December.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Todd, of course, we got to get to you.
Sure.
Got to hear from your perspective. I forget, you had that arcade cabinet last year, didn't you?
Yeah. I got it. It was kind of, I don't know if I would call it a Christmas present to myself, but it was something that I wanted for when it first came out. And I know that they make a sit down version too, but mine's the stand up, and it's the arcade 1-up one.
Wow.
But I had to have it. I've got another machine that has multiple video games. It's got actually like over 1,000 different games, and Star Wars is on that one too. It's done up a little bit different, but this one is the actual arcade 1-up version, and like I said, I play it pretty often, but I just had to have it. It's a special game. I remember growing up in Ohio, we had a Chuck E. Cheese and Star Wars. They had the sit down version of the game, and I remember that was my favorite one. So when this one came out, I had to have it. So like I said, kind of a Christmas present to myself. My birthday was yesterday, actually. So having a December birthday, I get a lot of combination presents and things like that. But, the holidays and my birthday have always been kind of Star Wars. The hat that I'm wearing, my dad bought it for himself. Then he wore it one of the last Star Wars things that we got to do together, because he's not with us anymore. But I've got one of my favorite pictures is me and my dad at the theater, and I think it was I think it was The Force Awakens was the last movie that he and I got to see together, and I've got a picture of him because it premiered, I think, right on my birthday or the day before, day after. I usually do. And then I've got a picture of he and I together, and he's wearing this hat. So I'm kind of wearing this in tribute to my dad. I remember, my family always, I was a big Star Wars fan, so they're always doing Star Wars stuff for me, Hallmark ornaments, stuff like that. But having had a chance to do a lot with this past year with the trooping and things with the 501st. I did a holiday, which was we did some Halloween stuff. The weather was awful, but we stuck it out. My kit got a little wet, but I'm looking forward to this next year. And some of the other members of our garrison, which is Bloodfin Garrison, they've been doing a couple holiday parades down in Indianapolis. So,
Very, very cool. Well, happy belated birthday, by the way, Todd.
Oh, thank you.
I hope it was a lot of fun and got a lot of cool gifts.
I did.
Very cool. Well, it's great to hear, all these special, Star Wars related things, that happen around this time. Especially with the movies. When the sequel trilogy came out, because for the longest time, as everyone remembers, Star Wars was always, a May event, and with the exception of Solo that came out in, what was it, 2018?
I'm not sure.
I think it was 2018. And anyways, regardless, once the newer movie started to come out, that's when they decided to push them all to December. And I remember, I was working at Regal Cinemas at the time when they first started coming out. And just the excitement, and it was so weird, because as an employee, you would think like, oh, this is going to be terrible. It's going to be so busy. It's going to be a madhouse. And it was, but, as a Star Wars fan, you get this adrenaline rush of like seeing all these people, coming out, to see something great. And I remember when tickets first started going on sale, just like the excitement, like my heart was racing. And like by the end of the night, seeing like over 900 tickets sold opening night. Yeah. And it was this, that's how it was for, Force Awakens, then Rogue One, then Last Jedi. But funnily enough, not for Rise of Skywalker, because by then I had moved on to a different job. And I was able to participate for a special event at the Air and Space Museum in Chantilly. And that for me was a lot of fun. Just being able to kit up and, greeting people, coming in to see the movie. As, my one regret is that I didn't get to do more of these. Hopefully we'll have more movies come out, during December, and more of those opportunities will come.
If they do, we'll keep them busy for the Force Awakens premiere. We got a big group together from the Garrison, and I ended up buying 41 movie tickets at the Alamo.
Wow.
I still kick myself for missing out on meeting Anthony Daniels.
Oh, that was great. And when he came to Reston Town Center for the Washington Film Fest, yeah. I
still kick myself like no, how did I miss that?
Well, it was nice. He actually came right into the dressing room and greeted all of us. So that was a fun day.
Oh.
Priceless.
Yeah. Oh man. No. Yeah. Okay. So I did get confirmation from one of our viewers that yes, it was 2018. So, so I knew I wasn't going crazy. But yeah, no, it's great to hear, like all the special traditions that we got going on. But as far as like other items, one of the things that I like collecting around the holidays, Star Wars related, are Lego Star Wars advent calendars. So the advent calendars, and they're different themed ones. This year's theme, I believe, is Mandalorian. Dominic, I'll try to keep an eye out to see if there's a Gecko Lego figurine.
Oh, please. It took us 2 years to get one license piece. I'm done. They said there was a Hasbro Pulse, there was the Rancor with you need 14,000 signatures. I'll tell you, after this license piece, it's up to the fans. I'm exhausted, but yeah, you can do your makeshift one. They've got a million different custom figures of him, and even Big Kid Bricks. They've got this really cool Gecko one, I think, even online. So just tie a little string around it and call it a day. There's the ornament. But oh my God, it's been exhausting.
Yeah. Dominic, have people been giving you? Have you been getting a lot of fan creations regarding your character?
Oh, countless. I mean, it's everything from Black Series to the vintage figure. There's a gentleman in Maryland, D2C Studios, who created the vintage figure, custom-made Funko Pops everywhere from Oregon to the Midwest. There were about 3 different places. So yeah, I was doing that Will Smith meme to Lucasfilm. It was like, I like the whole freaking franchise was based on side characters. What are you guys doing? I think what happened was, not to go off topic, but I think with the sequel trilogy, even my own sons, they're now 16 and 13, but even, when they were 5 and 3, they went directly to the iPad. And it's no knock to Lucasfilm or to Disney Collectibles, Hasbro, but it's no longer the novelty that it was in terms of with Yak Face, Amon, Blue Snaggletooth. But I think what they wanted to do after the sequel trilogy, because again, I don't think their numbers were there. If you went down to Walmart or wherever, you'd see a lot of those figures, in the bargain bin. Unfortunately for me, I picked a bad time to get in Star Wars, but I was just trying to present to them again how magical Blue Snaggletooth was. There's still hope. They have the Navarro Cantina playset coming out next year, and I'm like, how amazing would it be to have one Cantina character, wink wink, to go with that. But again, just so grateful for this one piece. We're going to do a lot of good with it and parlay it into 501st causes. And Daniel Logan, who I'm sure you all know, is going to be helping me take that public. Funko Pop still has me on the radar, but ultimately, we're talking to one of the other gentlemen there. I mean, I'm fortunate to have a career outside of Star Wars with a lot of other TV shows and films, but I just really want to just put a nice little bow on this with such a great licensed piece that's symbolic of togetherness and celebration, and just call it a day. And if Dave and John want to continue it, God bless them. I'd be more than happy to, step up to the plate, but also I think it's just been a beautiful arc of a movie, almost similar to Rudy Rudiger as far as getting that one sack. He didn't make the NFL, but what a beautiful story that is. So that's where we want to keep it. But just happy to at least have gotten one. I think that was a gesture by Disney to say thank you for all that we did. And I don't really want to push it after that. But fingers crossed. Like I said, you guys know you're all collectors. I think side characters is what makes Star Wars. We're just dealing with a different beast now with both Marvel and Star Wars, because there's going to be so much content that it's not going to be as special as that 1985 series, which featured about 7 or 8 out of those 17 of characters similar to myself that were on screen for probably 5 seconds,
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And hopefully some of your other Mandalorian castmates have similar experiences. Like I ran it when I was at FanX earlier this year. I ran to a couple of Mandalorian members, Chris Bartlett, Tate Fletcher, Barry Lowen.
Yeah. Chris and Tate are good friends. They're great people.
Yeah. I was able to chat with them. And they even came by they came by our booth to say hi.
Yeah.
And that was really cool to meet more of the Mandalorian family.
Yeah. They obviously came from different circumstances, and I've been fortunate to have that with other shows. We were coming from a campaign, which I think was just sort of, we sort of pioneered that with the Star Wars universe. I don't think any performer has been that passionate to sort of motivate their character into more of a substantial existence. I know that there's one of the guys who was a Wookiee Tarpal, where I think he's got a pretty aggressive campaign in bringing back Tarpal to the series. But we came from a different angle than Tate and Chris. But either way, just such great ambassadors, both of them, for the Star Wars universe, and very talented performers as well in their own right. I don't know if you know Tate. I think he's former UFC and quite a stuntman. If you look at his resume, everything from John Wick to Westworld, he's been around, and it was a lot of fun. I wish I could have taken my eyes and heart and put it in all the Star Wars universe's souls to have seen what I saw and to be standing right by him there during the attack on Navarro there that day. It was a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Of course, Chris Bartlett started out as a C-3PO with Rebel Legion.
Yes,
he was telling me about that, and he was like, when I was at their table, like he had like all the photos of like all the characters he was in Mandalorian, and he was basically saying like, I made pretty much most of these.
Yeah,
which I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
But Dominic, you brought on the topic of toys, and that got me thinking of what everyone's like favorite Star Wars Christmas gift was, and this can be when they were a kid or up until now. Yeah. Todd, what's one gift that sticks out in your mind besides the arcade machine?
Oh, well, yeah, like I said, I bought it for myself, so it's kind of, I don't know if I would, as far as gifts that were given to me, in the early 80s when I was, probably, 6, 7, 8 years old, it was the ships and the figures from the Kenner collection, which I have almost everything that I ever had when I was a kid. So I'm still collecting all that. And I did sell some of it and bought it back. But I remember getting the Battle Damage X-Wing. I got the Y-Wing. Those stick out. And like I said, I have my original one still upstairs. Something else that was given to me, I was thinking about it today, kind of in preparation for this, was when my son was, probably in 3rd or 4th grade, they did one of those, they had a secret Santa workshop thing where you give the kids some money, and then they would go to have like a sale at their school, and the kids could buy gifts for their family members. So you wouldn't, typically the parents, John, you got your sister Sally, and this is what you gave, this is what you bought for, this is what you're giving to her for Christmas. So we didn't know as parents when what they were really buying. So you just gave money. But I remember that one Christmas I opened up it was a Power of the Force, Darth Vader, pretty common figure and stuff like that. I already had one, but my son was really happy to give it because it was one of the only Star Wars things that was at this little shop thing that he had, and he was very excited to give it to me because it was a Star Wars related thing, and he knew how much I love Star Wars and things. And so that gift sticks out in my mind a lot. Like I said, it wasn't. I think it was what made it cool was just because it was from him. But and the other present that I'll bring up that once again I kind of bought it for myself and it hasn't shown up yet, but I'm still waiting for my Razor Crest from Hasbro. I thought it was going to be here by now, but it might be. I've heard that they're going to start shipping maybe at the beginning of the year, so that's another kind of Christmas present I bought for myself.
Well, pray it comes all in one piece. And
yes. I can't say how they charged my credit card, and I think the very next week was when everybody watched it get destroyed. To me, the Razor Crest was kind of like the next Millennium Falcon, almost a character itself on the show. And I was pretty disappointed that it unceremoniously exploded into a billion pieces. And but I still think it's a really cool ship. And I hope the Mandalorian can get another one, maybe at a used car salesman or a used starship salesman will have another ship for him that looks like the Razor Crest 2, but who knows?
Oh, I'm sure his bounty hunter friends can hook him up with something.
Yeah.
Well, they blew up Admiral Akbar the same way, so I guess it's not a surprise they do the same thing.
Yeah.
Gecko might be able to hook him up with something.
There you go. We'll barter some deals. Yeah, absolutely.
There we go. Daniel, how about yourself? Any favorite Star Wars gifts that you've gotten over the years?
Sure. So I guess two kind of come to mind. So the first one is going to sound a little goofy, but so we did InfernoCon last year, like the holiday one for the first time last year. And, I'd done some work with Toys for Tots and things like that before, but I guess I never really thought too much about how the holidays were tied in with things like I don't know, helping other people, especially with something like Make-A-Wish. And last year, one of the things that was really neat was being able to help facilitate people, donating to this. I started finding out more about what they do, started finding out more about how they're, helping these kids, and I have a lot of kind of personal understanding of what it's like to be a kid in the hospital. So being able to be part of that was different for me because not only was it, a way to sort of help others, but it let me, I got to do all my Star Wars stuff, so, that was kind of a present for me. I get to do all my Star Wars stuff and then talk to all these cool people and do something that's, good for somebody else too. So I guess that's the first one that comes to mind. And like I said, it's a little goofy, but I guess as I get older, stuff like that is what means more to me. The second one is maybe a little bit, well, it's probably just as goofy, but so I have a bad habit at Christmas. I don't actually ask for anything. I don't do gift list or anything. So everyone just kind of has to guess, which is dangerous. So, Christmas morning, a few years ago, I was opening things, the socks, and those are cool, and a shirt, that was cool too. And so I thought we were done, and my wife brought out a box from behind the tree, and it was big, and I started going, there hadn't really been any Legos in the mix yet, and so I looked at it, started opening. It was the Jawa sandcrawler, and totally hadn't expected that. She hadn't said anything about it. I hadn't said anything about it. And I mean, it was just such an awesome present, not because necessarily it was a Lego, but because somehow she knew that was what was going to put the smile there. And hopefully that's an experience that I can pass on to my kids or kid as we go. And I'm sure that the other parents here can kind of relate to that. That's the experience you want to give. So it's neat to get it every now and then.
Absolutely. Lori, were those Star Wars figures you have in the back, are those Christmas gifts, or do you have some better Christmas gifts that you gotten over the years?
Those were gifts to myself. I needed some Star Wars holiday decor, and those figures were very cool. But my favorite Star Wars holiday gift was I have an inflatable rolling R2-D2, which we had drag races around the house when that came in, which is fun. And I live right off of a pedestrian area now where there's a huge walking space. So one of these afternoons when I'm bored, I've got to take my inflatable R2. I've got one of the little baby BB-8 figures and put my Salacious Crumb puppet in a stroller and take the pets out for a walk. It'll be fun. Get some nice eyebrow raises around the town center.
Man, oh man, that is a great image in my mind. Excuse me. And then Dominic, I know, obviously, the toys coming out, were obviously, really important to you. Were there any other special Star Wars gifts that really come to mind?
Yes, just a little side note. I just want to piggyback off Lori there. I did give myself one Christmas gift, and you guys have to Amazon or Google Tavern mug if you get a chance. It's just these great, sort of elven mugs, just perfect for a beer. So I that was my little gift to myself. But yes, we would go back to 1983, and there's a great story with that. Well, a couple stories actually, of just the Jabba playset. When I started this campaign, there was a great store in Dallas called Order 66 Toys, who invited me out to a group signing. And I had, you go back to 1983, you've got Nine Numb, you've got the Ewoks, right? Because of, it's Return of the Jedi. You've got the Gamorrean Guard. And then you also have Salacious Crumb, who came with Jabba. I just had the privilege, especially before Felix passed away there. He was one of the Ewoks from Return of the Jedi, and he was also in Battlestar Galactica and the Addams Family. We all got to spend a great weekend down in Dallas together at Order 66 Toys. And it was so sentimental for me because I remember how magical that Christmas was, being 9 years old and playing with all those side characters. One little side fact, I don't know if you guys know, but I only found out a year ago that Klaatu, Barada, and Nikto were basically named. That was the inspiration from George Lucas when he was a kid. He watched The Day the Earth Stood Still. I had no idea the connection of those character names, but those were some of my favorite characters, of course. But it really was that magic of 1983, again, being 9 years old, still having that magic of Santa, who does exist, believing in Santa, and also just the magic of Star Wars during that time. It was just priceless. It was before, I don't want to say the oversaturation, but there was something very special that hit us, I believe, even with 1989's Batman, of something still being so fresh and so new, and also the amount of work and detail they put into not only the entire production, but those amazing side characters, which again, it just piqued your curiosity when you were a kid, and even now in terms of the level of detail that George Lucas brought to it. I believe, I don't know if it was Alec Guinness, but again, he was almost ready to pass because it was a sci-fi film. And at that time, sci-fi films were ridiculously cheesy. But as we know, Lucas brought it to another level. And again, it just really made a Christmas that more magical, especially being 9 with that Return of the Jedi playset there.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, those are some great gifts. Mm-hmm. You've given me ideas of what to get family members and friends for next year.
Yeah, Tavern mug. You got to Google it, Amazon it. It's just so badass, and it just popped out at me. Just the greatest little Christmas gift, and again, just perfect for a beer after work there.
Very cool. Yeah. Now thinking back to some of the stuff that I got as a kid. So as a kid, one of my favorite gifts. I want to say Christmas of 2000, and I talked about this in the last panel. But I had gotten my Nintendo 64 that year, and I got a copy of Rogue Squadron. And that was like my big introduction to like the Star Wars video game scene. Played that hours on end. I could never take down those walkers. I had never seen, I hadn't seen episode 5 at the time, so I was, it was all trial and error trying to shoot him down, and then I having some fun. Oh, there's a cable you can use. Oh. But I think the coolest gift for me, and this was one I got last year, was this little guy. And the reason, and I actually I got him, and then I got a larger Grogu who had a little plastic frog and a little and like his little ball. But he's actually, I have had a lot of good times with him. So when I moved out here to Utah and joined the new garrison, I had the idea of, hey, I have this little guy with me, because one of the first troops that I was doing was at the local Ronald McDonald House, and with kids going to be there, I was thinking, that if we're decked out in armor, that might be a little bit kind of intimidating. Like, there was me as a stormtrooper, there were a couple of Mandalorians, there was one Leia, but I was thinking to myself, if there's going to be little kids here, I think it would really help to bring a little fuzzy green guy like him to let kids know, like, hey, it's okay, we're your friends, and
As long as you're not a biker scout.
as long as you're not a biker scout. Yeah. No, but like the reaction that I get, with people seeing him, like it's amazing. I'll see kids, they want to come, parents will be like, hey, you want to take a photo with them? And, they're hiding behind their legs, and, I'll bring out little Grogu's like, hey, here, do you want to say hi to him? And, they become immediately more receptive. Like, they want to see him, and feel him, and sometimes I'll be like, hey, you want to take a picture with him? And I'll let them hold him. And, I think, he has been my good luck charm. Everywhere I go, everywhere I take him, they're always like, baby Yoda, baby. And I think that's just amazing. Even adults, like the last con I was at, like, I got people staring at me, in my stormtrooper. I was just like, why do you have the child? Give him back. Yeah, but I think that's probably one of my favorite Star Wars Christmas gifts. And it was funny because earlier this year, my mom was like, you've been using him a whole lot. I'm going to get you another one because he's starting to look a little dirty. So, but yeah, but I think it's also one of those things, that reminds me, like a lot of kids do like Star Wars, but you also have to keep in mind that, when we're decked out in our costumes, we look like the real thing, and that could be kind of alarming and sometimes a little bit scary. So I think it always helps to, bring something with you to sort of, let kids know that, hey, we're your friends. We're here to bring the good times.
Well, that's where it helps at the holidays, when you are trooping with the Santa hats on or the garlands around your neck. Makes everybody a little less intimidating for the kids who are walking around. Although a lot of them aren't intimidated at all by the armor. It's not at all unusual to have kids come up and hug your leg out of the blue when you're trooping.
Absolutely. I think I need to get a Star Wars Yoda hat like Todd does.
Oh.
But I'm wondering, like, if it'll fit around, my bucket, or
A little bit of Velcro you could put something in there to kind of put it on the top. This is actually a little bit small on me, but I shoved it on there.
I know some folks will buy 2 of them and combine them if it's too small to make it big enough to fit around a bucket.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Absolutely. Wow. Yeah, no, it's great to hear, the Christmas, great Christmas gifts you get around during the holidays. For those watching at home, if you've got any favorite Star Wars gifts that you got over the years, whether it's recent or when you were a kid, let us know. Let us know in the comments. And just as a reminder, we're still raising money. We are still in the process of raising money for Make-A-Wish Foundation. They are still doing they've done great things for us, and we'd be appreciative if you do great things for them. But that gets me thinking on the topic of charity. So I think one of the great things during the holidays, especially when you get older, you as a kid, obviously it's a lot of fun to get stuff. But I think what's really great is, for a lot of us as we get older, it's what really makes this time special is, giving to others. And I was wondering, if there are any special events that you guys have done that have helped to raise for, local charities and whatnot. Dominic, obviously that's been one of your mission goals for the past couple of years.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I said, well, if I'm going to do this, and also, again, just so humbled by all the 501st, the Rebel Legion, Mendeloid Mercs who came out to support my appearances. I wanted to see whatever I could possibly do to help their local causes. So throughout that time, we were able to raise funds for Make-A-Wish Foundation, the Peter Mayhew Foundation, Tom Kane, who was a former actor in the Star Wars universe, up in Sioux City, Iowa, some amazing people up there. Some of the stores, the agreement that I had with a lot of the stores was I did not want any appearance fee. I wanted to give them 15% of all autograph sales. So some of the stores also, instead of taking the fee themselves, they paid it forward to some of their local charities. I remember in Alaska at Bosco Comics, they forwarded it to a local women's domestic abuse shelter. Down in Georgia with the Alabama Garrison, they work with the Aflac Cancer Research Fund. And next year, so what we're doing, this licensed piece work is basically revolves around celebration. And it's a specific type of theme. And what I wanted to do with in 9 major cities throughout the United States was to come out completely complimentary on my own dime and raise funds for whatever local charity the 501st or Mandalorian Mercs decide that they would like to raise funds for. So I think it's a great license piece. As much as I would have loved the Black Series or the Hasbro or the Funko Pop. I think it's a beautiful way to end this story in terms of a license piece revolving around celebration, because this character Gecko would not have existed without the unity of the entire Star Wars community. So really happy to devote June and July we're going to do probably a couple weeks in the Northeast. We might get over to Virginia, one over in Seattle. We've got Houston, Dallas, Tulsa, Omaha, Chicago, and also Florida on May 15th. So really looking forward to continuing it to pay it forward. Also, in my way of saying thank you to Dave and John for this priceless opportunity as a performer. It just beyond all my TV shows that I've done, this obviously, as you guys could imagine, was certainly a dream come true there. So happy to continue to pay it forward in 2022. And again, you guys just continue to inspire me so much in terms of the amount of time that you guys devote gratis, which again is even when I went down as Gecko to San Diego Comic-Con and I was in the costume for 3 hours, I was like, it just gave me even more of a newfound respect for so many of you who sacrifice, especially for the children there at the hospitals. It's not a comfortable thing. When you're filming, you have a lot of adrenaline juices flowing. So, you're able to motivate, and also that's your job where you get paid. But the fact that you guys do this, and again, to put a smile on kids' faces is extremely humbling. So it's just my final way of saying thank you to everybody, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Before I forget, I want to give a special shout out to Alpine Garrison. They're doing their Officer Doug Barney toy drive down in Sandy, Utah. So for all the Utah viewers, if you're in the Sandy area from 12 to 5, they are doing a toy drive down there for the local community. And I should mention, they got some special guests coming around. They got Jim Cummings coming there, and they've got a few other big names. So
yeah, Utah has you guys have a little upgrade there. I was up there at Rogue Toys in Salt Lake City, and the 501st whipped out the almost a life-size land speeder, which was pretty awesome. So I'm sure you guys still have that, and you bring it to the events. That was so cool to. They allowed me to drive it around there for a second around the parking lot.
funny thing. So they brought it for FanX earlier this year.
Yeah.
And we let Emily Swallow drive around in it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so cool. And you guys came out in full force there when I was there in the fall of 2020. It was really awesome, and looking forward to getting back up there. Of course, an amazing human being, and Erica McKinney, who is one of the heads of PR with 501st. She's such an amazing person, and yeah, hopefully we'll visit you guys sometime soon there. I'd love to explore the city there.
Excellent. Oh, that's who I was missing. Jess Harnell, Maurice LaMarche, and Ron Paulson. So you all know them from Animaniacs. So yes, they are also going to be there at that toy drive. But enough of my self plug. I want to hear from the rest of you guys about any special charity events that you've done over the years, or any that really speak out, ones that you still love to support.
We did some great results with Toys for Tots over the years. I remember at one troop we were at a Toys R Us store, and they had this big bin for donations of toys. And they told us that on a normal day they would get maybe 3 or 4 toys donated in the bin. But when we came out for about 3 hours in the afternoon, the bin was filled, emptied, and filled again. So it is amazing the difference that having the costume characters present and encouraging people to donate can make in the results for the charities.
I was just thinking about those too. There's one time that we did it where people filled the bin. So they were coming out of the checkout line with toys they bought specifically for that. And I think they filled the bin. We had to get a second one. These were like the big bargain bin things, like where they put the stuff they're trying to get rid of. I mean, and both of those were like all the way to the top. We were piling stuff on. I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, Toys for Tots is always a great organization to work with. Where I'm working at right now, I'm working at the Salt Lake City MEP station. That's where we process recruits for the military, and they've got a couple of Toys for Tots boxes by the entrance where people can come by and drop off toys. It's a really great organization. If any viewers out there, if you ever want to get involved, with Toys for Tots, they are always looking for donations, and they're a great team to work with. I can attest. Todd, were there any special charity events that you've done that really stick out to you?
I'm probably starting to be a broken record here, but because everybody else said that Toys for Tots was like, I think my 3rd or 4th troop ever. There was a local restaurant chain to Indiana that would teamed up with our garrison a lot, and they had Toys for Tots at all their locations. And I remember that they usually just wanted a couple people there because it was, sometimes it gets a little overwhelming and things. So, but the guy that I was supposed to be with, he bailed. And so it was my, like I said, this was like my 3rd or 4th troop ever. And I was solo which our garrison they don't really want that. They always want us to be at least in a pair to kind of watch out for each other and stuff like that. But because it was at the restaurant, I talked to our event coordinator. He's like, yeah, he goes, I think you can just do it by yourself. And it was pretty interesting doing it by myself. But we brought some people in. They were the restaurant had given a discount for those that brought toys in, so that brought a bunch of people in, and it was fun. Just kind of being there. I was the star of the show for that one, but it was a great everybody said, it's a great organization. And, we've been very fortunate with our garrison to be able to do a lot of stuff with that. Unfortunately, that restaurant chain went out of business, and we haven't paired up with another group like that since then. But I know we've done some other things for Toys for Tots and some other charity events that I haven't necessarily been a part of, but our garrison has been pretty active in that at Christmas time. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I know, obviously, this past couple of years, it's been hard to do, in-person events in some places.
Absolutely.
I know some retail places, had like a moratorium, regarding, charity events and whatnot. But one event that I remember doing, it was, are you guys familiar with Shop with a Cop?
I've heard of it.
Okay. So for those of you who don't know, what Shop with a Cop is a store will open up early, and they'll have families come in, and they'll walk around with the local police department, and the police officers, they'll walk around with the families and, go up and down the aisles picking out Christmas gifts for them. And this really helps a lot of low income struggling families. And it's a lot of fun, for, to meet all these people, to interact with them and whatnot. What was real fun and what was real interesting, I was telling my mom about, this event, and she was telling me about how when she used to work at Kmart. For those of you who don't know, Kmart was a big box store. I know they've all disappeared, but there was a time. She was talking about how she did like the shop with the cop events. And like one of the things that really stuck out to her was like the kids, like they wouldn't really get gifts for themselves. They get gifts for their parents. And I think that was really something that really stuck out. Obviously, once things start getting back to normal, hopefully we'll be able to do bigger events with more retail outlets. Not just like the big stores, but also, with the smaller local shops, the local toy stores, the local comic shops. Those I think are still a lot of fun and really helps to support the local communities at large. But yeah, I've got the reminder. So we're down about 5 minutes before we have to transition on to the next panel. You guys have been amazing throughout this entire hour. I can't thank you enough for the contributions you guys have made. But before we leave, were there any final words that you all wanted to get out before we move on?
Hey, James, can I sneak a quick question in here for everybody?
Yes.
So I'm curious, and obviously we're a little short on time, but what's everybody's favorite holiday movie?
Ooh,
Wow.
Klaus.
So, just whoever wants to start, just jump in.
Yeah, Christmas Vacation. Christmas Vacation, Chevy Chase is beyond legendary. So that would probably be the number one. I don't care. He's so talented that even when they say all the negative things, I still don't care. I'd still turn the other cheek. I'd say, don't worry about it. You're that brilliant. You can say whatever you want. You're that good.
Yeah, absolutely. Klaus had to be mine. I remember coming across, me and my family came across on Netflix, when it first came out. And I was just like, oh, this looks like a cute little Christmas movie. And then like after the movie show, it was just like, this is the best thing I've ever seen.
Wow.
And the fact that it lost to Toy Story 4 for Best Animated Feature at the Oscars, like still, I don't like thinking about it. If you haven't gotten a chance, watch Klaus this year. It is simply phenomenal.
Okay.
How about you, Laurie?
I'm a fan of the classics. There are two who pretty much have a tie. It's a Wonderful Life and Miracle on 34th Street, the original version with Natalie Wood. Those are just, every year we watch those in my house. Plus The Grinch Who Stole Christmas on the shorter side of things.
Yeah. There's only so many women you fall in love with on screen, and one of them is Donna Reed and also Winona Ryder from Edward Scissorhands. But yes, Donna, they were just absolutely priceless. Those legendary. Everything from Barrymore to Stewart there as well.
Yes.
How about you, Todd?
I would have said Die Hard, but apparently Bruce Willis said it's not a Christmas movie, so I'm just joking. I'm just joking. My favorite Christmas movie is A Christmas Story, Peter Billingsley. It was filmed in Cleveland, Ohio, I was born just east of there. And I remember that was such a big deal. I was probably 8 or 9 when that movie came out. And I remember my whole family going out to see it. And I mean, I remember everything about it. And I remember it was such a big deal about in that area of in Ohio, because it had been filmed there and stuff. And I still love it. And which is funny because it was filmed in Ohio. I've been to the house. Somebody bought the house, restored it, and now it's a museum kind of. But the film takes place in Indiana, which is where I live now. So there's just so many things I just love about that movie. So, but that's my favorite.
Excellent. Well, so it's currently 11:55 Eastern Standard Time. So I think this would be a perfect time to wrap up and get things transitioned for the next panel. As always, throughout the entire day up until 9 p.m., we are still raising funds for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Oh, and fun fact, if you donate up to at least $20, you'll see a little baby Yoda in festive wear pop up. So if you want to see him, now you know. Well, thank you guys all for this amazing panel. You guys were all amazing, sharing your memories and sharing your traditions. And yeah, I'm very thankful that I was able to, have the opportunity to do this with you guys. So thank you again. But with that, what's that?
I said thank you.
Absolutely. But I think with that out of the way, we will go ahead and start making the transition to the next panel, which, if I'm not mistaken, let me look at the schedule. Unless, Daniel, you're able to beat me to it.
Our next one is our droid panel.
The droid panel. So all of you droid fans out there, we've got a great panel for you coming on up in a couple of minutes. All right.
Thanks, guys.
We'll see you then.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
This is TK22807 from Garuda Garrison, Indonesia, to our friends in Garrison Tiranos, Inferno Squad. Warm greetings from Indonesia. A very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Solomon Odom, TK77797 of Garrison Tyrannus. I'm here in Purcell, Virginia, and I would like to wish every one of you a Merry Christmas.
Hi, my name is Luke. I'm Leia. Happy holidays! Bye!
Ini TK22807 dari Garuda Garrison Indonesia kepada teman-teman kami di Garrison Tiranos Inferno Squad. Salam hangat dari Indonesia. Selamat merayakan Natal dan Tahun Baru. Terima kasih.